I have no idea about what Adventure Time is about, or its timeline. And after Serby made me watch the Ben 10 timeline video, she was like, you know what? We'll continue with more American cartoons. And now we're here.
I love Adventure Time. I'm not as knowledgeable as I was for the Ben 10 one, but I have seen all of it. I'm currently rewatching it. Just fun to rewatch it after you know the whole story. But
the only thing
I love it.
I know about Adventure Time is that, well, there's a few things I should say. There's this dude with a lemon head, and he's in a lot of memes. I forgot the meme specifically. It's been a while, but I remember him. Yes, that meme. As a man of culture, I may not know Adventure Time, but I have knowledge of Princess Bubblegum dating some vampire chick. That I do know from certain sources. I think there was an episode where they gender swapped the characters or something. Yeah, that's really all I know.
I think I love this show so much because it's just very, very weird, and I adore it. There's a bunch of separate weird events, but it also builds up into one big story, which is my favorite way to do it.
This starting frame is very interesting already. I don't know what's going on.
You thought Adventure Time was over. I thought Adventure Time was over. Well, Adventure Time still has one more trick up its sleeve. Well, 4 if you're counting episodes. Yes, Distant Lands gives us another glimpse into the life and adventure times of Finn and Jake. So it's only fair we update the timeline with the new information. While Distant Lands largely acts as a sequel to the main story of Adventure Time, it offers a few new details about the past as well. Here we go. It's time for the even more complete chronology of Adventure Time.
Welcome to Channel Frederator, the cartoon central of the internet. Before we begin, we publish new videos every week, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video.
A few notes before we start though. First, we have to acknowledge JAGM, who painstakingly put together an incredibly in-depth timeline of Adventure Time and all of its multiverses over at atchronology.com. We owe him a lot. Further, showrunner Adam Muto has stressed that the comics aren't canon, so we're gonna be completely ignoring them today. We're only focused on events that were specifically referenced in the show. And lastly, we're going to be using the Great Mushroom War as our reference point for Year Zero. It's just standard Adventure Time.
Wait, what did they say? Let's see.
War as our referenced in the show. And lastly, we're going to be using the Great Mushroom War as our reference point for Year Zero. It's just
the Great Mushroom War as a reference point for Year Zero. Okay, I see. Yes. The first plumber. Washington.
Standard Adventure Timeline etiquette. Alright, let's do this. Primordial monsters. More than 13.7 billion years before the Mushroom War, which we'll now refer to as BMW. Yeah, I don't like the car, but it is the best we got. The Big Bang, the real one, was 13.7 billion years ago, but according to the Lich, before there was time, there was nothing. And before there was nothing, there were monsters. Stars of this monster soup include Hunson Abadir, Orgolorg, and Kokentepe. The Big Bang kicks off the multiverse. One would assume that this
Lovecraftian cosmic horror in an adorable cartoon bundle. How could I not love it?
Yeah. I mean, when you put it like that, Serby, obviously it's got to be something that is clearly within your niche. And if I had seen a show that was like it, I would immediately recommend it to you.
Event also spurs the creation of several cosmic entities like Golb, the elements and catalysts comets on Earth, 3.7 billion years BMW. It took the Earth another 9.2 billion years to form and another cool 800 million for life to emerge. Ever since, 4 core elements have always been present. These are fire, ice, candy, and slime.
What, candy and slime?
Yeah, you know, the 4 elements.
I was gonna make a joke of until the Fire Nation attacked, but I don't know about this one.
The Candy Nation.
The Candy Nation, yeah.
And lumps. Lumps are the anti-element. The beings that embody these elements are called elementals. The elementals are immortals who are continually reincarnated. We don't know when or why though. Even Glob doesn't know how the comet reincarnates itself. And yet, a catalyst comet strikes the Earth every 1,000 years, bringing an agent of change that can be good or evil. And evil includes, well, the Green Catalyst Comet and the creation of the Crown, 65 million years BMW. In the twilight hours of Earth's Cretaceous era.
What are the drawings? Oh my God. This is a cartoons. I see.
It's beautiful.
Those are majestic boobies.
The ice elemental Urgence Evergreen points out to the other elements that the green comet hurtling towards Earth is writhing in a particularly disconcerting way. To combat the comet's imminent destruction of life, Evergreen builds a crown, whose phantasmal circuitry would bind to its first bearer, and grant them their one deepest wish. When the other elementals reject Evergreen's plan, he ices them, naturally. Evergreen powers is crowned, but becomes indisposed at the last minute, leaving the responsibility of using the crown to his maligned and mentally scarred dinosaur assistant, Gunther.
What kind of sentence is that? What? Okay. Also, is this the guy who has the crown in the show? It was the Ice King dude?
No,
maybe?
You'll get there.
It is a long time ago, though, so maybe some sort of descendant. I don't know. We'll see.
It's the same crown.
Yeah, obviously. Maybe. Hopefully.
But Gunther's deepest wish isn't to destroy the comet. It's to become...
Wait! Gunther, isn't that the name of the penguin? I think...
Unrelated.
Wait! Okay, wait, I'm just gonna watch.
Evergreen. Gunther thereby turns the crown into an artifact that gives the wearer ice powers at the cost of their own identity and sanity. And some form of every wearer's consciousness is stored in the crown circuitry. Meanwhile, the green comet strikes Earth, inciting a mass extinction. In 65 million years, the catalyst force introduced by this comet would become the Lich, a monster who vows to extinguish all life. Vampires appear, over 7 million years BMW. According to Hunson Abadir, vampires predate humans on Earth. The demon Abadir has previously been on Earth since its origin. We don't know when he takes over the rule of the Nightosphere, but for convenience's sake, let's just say that it happens around now. Elsewhere in the prehistoric world, a cult of dark magicians come together and form their own settlement, Wizard City. The cult worships Kokontepi, a primordial monster like the Lich. When Kokontepi dies, the original founders of Wizard City are thrown out by a new group that forbid dark magic. The new rulers of Wizard City bury Kokontepi's body deep within a tomb underneath Wizard City, fearful that the monster may one day return. Orgolorg banished to Earth, 10,000 to 5,000 years BMW. Another inhabitant of the aforementioned primordial monster soup was Orgolorg, the breaker of worlds who tyrannically ruled the solar system for eons. Between 10,000 to 5,000 years ago, Orgolorg attempts to intercept a catalyst comet and absorb its powerful essence. But Abraham Lincoln, the king...
What did I say? George Washington, Abraham Lincoln. Yeah. Is he also a vampire hunter in this universe too?
...of Mars sends Grobgob to stop him with...
Okay. Why am I even surprised anymore?
But Abraham Lincoln, the king of Mars, sends Grobgob to stop him with a sweet...
What is that? What? Okay.
Flame sword.
I'm sorry for pausing so much.
There's also apparently an advanced society already on Mars, and everyone important there is apparently immortal. Anyway.
Wait! What? What did I see there? This is actually Jake.
On
what?
Mars, and everyone important there
Isn't Jake the dog?
In that scene.
Okay.
Apparently immortal. Anyway, Grobgob banishes Orgolorg to Earth, where Orgolorg forgets everything, including his own identity. The gravity of Earth squashes Orgolorg into a penguin, who's eventually renamed Gunther by...
Okay. That penguin. Wow.
Uh-huh.
I see.
Yeah.
The world ender. Okay.
It makes perfect sense.
Certainly.
A future crown wearer. So just to be clear, this Gunther is not actually related to the dinosaur trapped in the crown circuitry.
Okay.
Orgulorg maintains his immortality though, and continues to appear throughout human history. The Rainicorn Dog Wars, about 2000 BMW.
Rainicorn
Elsewhere,
Dog
a nasty,
Wars?
long-lasting war breaks out between the two primary inhabitants of the Crystal Dimension. Long, rainbow-bodied unicorn-like creatures called Rainicorns and a race of intelligent dogs. These so-called Rainicorn Dog Wars are fought over territory in the Crystal Dimension. Although fighting ends several thousand years after the Mushroom War, the group and power of the Crystal Dimension would change constantly, and hate crimes between the two groups aren't uncommon. Golb attacks Mars. 200 BMW. Golb is the most powerful cosmic entity in the universe, the embodiment of discord and chaos. Golb appears on Mars and swallows Margles, the wife of Globgrod's younger brother, Magic Man. Golb's power is so strong that not even the power of Prismo's wish room can bring her back. Margle ceases to exist anywhere. Mo co-founded about 20 BMW. Sometime before the Mushroom War, Mosif Mastro Giovanni founds MoCo, a factory that would build the most impressive robots in the millennium to come. The facility is primarily dedicated to sentient robots called Moes, including Moes.
Oh, I know this little guy. He is a part of the crew as well. Sometimes. I think he gets forgotten a lot though. No
one forgets BMO.
BMO, who is designed to receive love. Mo himself slowly transitions into a cyborg and so survives the Mushroom War. The Enchiridion is...
What is that? What is this man? Why do we draw people like this?
Transitions into a cyborg and so survives the Mushroom War. The Enchiridion is discovered and Marceline is born. 5 BMW. Simon Petrikov, a professor of archaeology, discovers an ancient book known as the Enchiridion while on an expedition to the Hindu Kush. Although Simon realizes the profundity of his discovery, he's mocked by the press and his fellow academics. The origin and age of the Enchiridion is unknown, but it's among the most powerful artifacts in the multiverse. If utilized with the correct gems, the Enchiridion can create passageways to different dimensions or enable time travel. In that same year, Hunson Abadir has his first and only child with a human. The half-demon, half-human child is named Marceline. Evergreen's crown...
Marceline is the vampire girl who ends up dating the bubblegum princess, I think, right? Maybe.
Discovered. 2 BMW. A few years later, Simon purchases a mysterious crown from an old dock worker in northern Scandinavia. Simon jokingly shows the crown to his fiancée and fellow antiquarian Betty Groff by placing it upon his head. The moment he does, the crown starts transforming him. Over many years, Simon's skin turns blue,
and then he becomes the guy that we know.
White, his body temperature drops, he develops ice powers, and he starts losing his sanity. Betty appears to run away after this initial incident, but in reality, over 1,000 years in the future, Simon opens a portal to say goodbye to Betty, and she jumps through it. But we'll get to that when we come to it. Also, sometime before the bombs do too much damage, a human named Hugo manages to escape with a number of other humans by launching into space. While they escaped the Mushroom War, their rocket malfunctions shortly after they leave Earth.
Wait, the Mushroom Wars? Are they talking about like mushroom clouds from nuclear explosions? Is that why it's called the Mushroom War?
This is a post-apocalyptic world, yes.
Oh, okay.
A group of Greys rescues them, but Hugo
A group of Greys? Okay. Well, we gotta get Kiwi on this.
hacks them, merging their DNA with the humans, forming a new race called the Grey Elves. The original Greys perish in the biohacking process, but the new Grey Elves eventually find their way to the Drift, an ancient space station host to a number of different life forms. Over time, Hugo becomes the head scientist and de facto leader of the Drift. Here it is, Year 0, the Great Mushroom War. Only the elementals who saw visions of an ominous future guessed what was about to take place. However, the Earth is presently inhospitable to magic, so the elementals' powers are greatly limited. Patient Saint Pim, the ice elemental, refuses to bite it though. She goes to the ocean and sinks herself in an ice prism that preserves her life through the war-torn times to come. Back on Earth, the Mushroom War is a nuclear war whose origins have become obsolete. The pivotal element is the detonation of the mushroom bomb, a gigantic nuclear explosion with a sickening green hue, similar to the green catalyst comet. The site of the mushroom bomb detonation is a subway station, possibly in New York or LA. The bomb additionally releases the corporeal incarnation of the Lich. The site of the bomb's impact becomes a cesspool of toxic waste, known as the Lich's Well of Power. The effects of the Great Mushroom War are massive. Earth's climate changes, city and infrastructure are destroyed, humans nearly become extinct, and nuclear waste turns anyone unlucky enough to touch it into a mutagenic
The what state? I see.
zombie. These oozers are still alive and biohazardous 1,000 years in the future. The only positive is that elemental powers seem to reset. The power of the candy element was stifled immediately before the war, but shortly thereafter, gum is naturally occurring. The Great Mushroom War is also likely responsible for a chunk of the Earth coming clean off, although some theories hold that that was done by the Blue Catalyst Comet, 0AMW, or after the Mushroom War. Another major event happens in year 0. The Blue Catalyst Comet strikes Earth shortly after the Mushroom War. As a convenient counterbalance to the ultimate evil embodied by the Lich, this comet embodies good. Its first incarnation is a butterfly and will eventually become the human, Finn Merton.
Okay.
Yeah, it makes sense. There's logic to it.
Finn is a comet that used to be a butterfly.
Close, we'll go with that. It's the incarnation
Then again,
of the comet.
how Farmworld Finn can exist in a timeline where the blue comet misses Earth is one of the greatest and most frustrating anomalies of all Adventure Timedom. Young Marceline and the demise of Simon Petrikov, around 5 AMW. Some humans were able to survive by merit of not being completely human, like Marceline, or they were kept alive by magic, like Simon. Shortly after the bomb, these two survivors find each other and travel together, but the continued exposure to the crown and the increasing need to use its powers defensively are wearing upon Simon. Simon leaves Marceline when she's about 10, fearing that he'll soon become too dangerous. Simon disappears until he fully transitions into the Ice King. Simon did summon someone to take care of Marceline in his stead, though.
That doesn't look like a responsible guardian, like at all.
He did eat her fries.
Oh my god, how dare he?
Here, serial French fry thief and the father that Marceline had never met. Vampires eradicated and Founders Island established, around 13 AMW. After Abadir's failed attempt at guardianship, Marceline becomes a vampire hunter, and her demonness allows her to gain the powers of her victims, which is real handy. A few years later, Marceline befriends the few remaining humans led by Two Bread Tom, who seems to enjoy sitting by the campfire and singing sitcom openings from the 80s. Humans now wear animal hats as disguise and protection against their main predators, vampires and rainicorns, who arrived and discovered that humans are delicious.
Oh no, dude. The rainicorns eat humans?
Yeah, they have like fake human meat that they eat now.
Fake human meat. Tasty.
Yeah.
Humans are preparing to sail away from the mainland, not just because of predators and oozers, but because atmospheric readings are portending a major shift. The last fleet of vampires attack, with the Vampire King in tow. Marceline orders the humans to depart without her and slays the vampires herself, but the Vampire King's final act is to turn Marceline, making her, ironically, the last vampire. After a long voyage, Two Bread Tom lands at what becomes Founders Island. He is celebrated as one of the titular founders who are deified over time. In the coming years, the humans branch out onto the surrounding islands and construct a giant guardian so nothing dangerous can reach them, and also so no one leaves. Those wanting to depart are belittled as hiders. As human technology improves, seekers are fine-tuned by an electronic chip to stop hiders. No one leaves the islands for nearly 1,000 years. Ooh, and the Revitalization of Magic by 149 AMW. Rising ocean levels after the Mushroom War change Earth's geography. What was presumably the United States, or part of it, has become a smallish continent that's actually friendly to life. This new continent is called Ooh, spelt 3 O's. By 149 AMW, magic is strong enough in Ooh to stop comets, and wizardry has been revitalized. Birth of Bonnibel and Nettie Bubblegum, 172 AMW. Over time, the gum that started appearing around Ooh gained sentience, and the mother gum is formed. Only 2 people are known to have left the mother gum, Bonnibel and Nettie Bubblegum. The rise and fall of Uncle Gumball, around 186 AMW. Bonnie and Nettie built a home around the candy juice tree Nettie leaned on for comfort shortly after leaving the mother gum. When Bonnibel is in her early teens, she makes some relatives for herself. The first candy people, Uncle Gumbald, Aunt Lolly.
Wait, is this Princess Bubblegum that we know today?
Maybe.
As she made her own family.
She's kind of psycho.
And Cousin Chickle. Bonnie and her new relatives found Candy Town. They upgrade the house, farm the nearby land, create roads, all that good stuff. But Gumbald starts planning a candy city and wants to use Dum Dum Juice to get Bonnie and Eddie out of his way.
Dum Dum
Juice being a solution that causes candy people to become more docile and childlike. Bonnie fights back though, and Gumbald is dumbified along with Lolly and Chickle, who Gumbald had previously dumbified. They become the first candy citizens, and Bonnie declares herself the princess.
Oh my god. What is this turn of events? Your family was plotting against you to use the Dum Dum Juice? And then they got it on themselves? And now they're your citizens. I mean,
she got it on him. He put it on the others.
Semantics, but yeah. Ultimately, the people that she rules over were the test subjects that she created.
Yeah.
I see.
The Candy Kingdom grows, about 500 to 700 AMW. Bonnibel, now Princess Bubblegum, borrows Gumbald's aspiration to create a candy civilization. Her kingdom slowly expands out of her tree home with Nettie. She creates Banana Guards and the Gumball Guardians, and she's sort of dating Mr. Cream Puff, the boyfriend that Gumbald had previously made for her. To help her out, she also creates a new servant, Peppermint Butler. Peppermint Butler soon takes an interest in dark magic.
The very first episode is a zombie episode, right?
Yeah, you did.
They make candy zombies.
Of course they are. Why wouldn't they be?
He casts a kind of protective curse on himself. Should he ever be dumbified, Peppermint Butler's pre-Dum-Dum version should be able to guide his new self back towards dark magic. In the intermediate stages of development, Bubblegum is visited by Shoko, a reincarnation of the Blue Comet. Being a mercenary thief, Shoko was sent to steal an amulet in Bubblegum.
Wait, a reincarnation of the Blue Comet that eventually becomes Finn, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I'm following correctly, yeah.
Possession. Yeah. She successfully swipes it after befriending Bubblegum, but in her flight, Shoko falls into the yet uncovered radioactive river surrounding the kingdom, becoming
Why is there a radioactive river surrounding the kingdom? What? I think we should cover that up, you know?
Yeah, they get to it eventually.
Horribly mutated. She dies at the base of the tree that will eventually become Finn's treehouse. Over
that is... Wow.
time, the Candy Kingdom prospers. However, the wider nature of the kingdom's earlier years encouraged rather unfortunate authoritarian impulses in Bubblegum, such as creating an elite force of hundreds of soldiers called Rattleballs, finding them too violent, and then killing them all.
What am I watching?
I told you she's psycho.
I guess you really can't judge people by their appearance. Like,
that's right, because you see like hints of it in the earlier seasons. But yeah, it's definitely a roller coaster. So when you go back, like I'm rewatching it right now, it's like yeah. I mean, she always showed this side of her, but it is more obvious afterwards.
Yeah, but like you never knew like the depths of it. It was just like her quirky thing, probably. But man, I can't imagine like what's being in a relationship with her like. Gotta ask, what's her name? Marceline?
The success of the Candy Kingdom inspires other kingdoms to spawn in the following centuries, including the elemental kingdoms of fire, slime, and ice, which is created by the remnants of Simon Petrikov, who is...
I think the Fire Princess, from the knowledge, the outside knowledge that I know, has a crush on Finn.
Finn and Flame Princess dated for a little while. I actually thought they were cute together, but the show writing kind of drives them apart.
Okay, I see. But I think I remember her. We'll see if we ever get into that.
Who is now known as the Ice King. Oh, and a glass kingdom is created when a magical bolt of lightning strikes in the desert. Eventually, after the Glass Kingdom has become more established, they're threatened by Molto Larvo, a flaming dragon that's been growing in the furnace beneath the kingdom. Unable to face the dragon themselves, the Glass Kingdom asks Princess Bubblegum to help, and she obliges with Marceline tagging along. Oh yeah, PB and Marceline are dating at this point. When Bubblegum struggles to contain Larvo, Marceline gets on her last nerve, causing Bubblegum to lose her temper. In response, Marceline plays an angry breakup song about Bubblegum. Sure, it hurts Bubblegum's feelings, but it also forces Larvo to retreat into the furnace, saving the Glass Kingdom. The Glass citizens make Marceline a saint, and every year from there, they sing her song to keep Larvo at bay. The Margles Incident, about 600 AMW.
Well, that's one way to solve the problem, I guess.
Meanwhile, Mars is uneasy about the possibility of the second coming of Golb. To prevent this, Magic Man uses his long curated scientific and magical strength to build the magical automated resistance generating laser energy supplier, or Margles, named after his wife. Against the judgment of his older brother, Magic Man goes to Olympus Mons to install Margles, but is overcome by his desire to hold on to the image of his wife. The resulting struggle causes Margles to fall off Olympus Mons. Magic Man banished to Earth, 798 AMW.
So
after Olympus Mons, Magic Man's personality drastically changes. He starts
What did I just see?
After Olympus Mons,
people? A bus? He's driving a car over these people?
Magic Man's personality drastically changes. He starts unleashing a series of mean-spirited plank plagues upon the Martians, like turning Mars's water into hair that would make you go bald if you drank it. Sick of Magic Man's harmful antics, Abraham Lincoln and Grob Gob Glodgrod banish Magic Man to Earth. They supply him with a transporter to get back home, though that only works through feeling love. Yet, Magic Man, who was understandably traumatized, thinks the transporter is just broken, so he simply...
What the fuck was that? What did I just see?
That's the first episode you see Magic Man.
What the fuck? Oh god.
He ends up
throw up if she saw that.
Finn helps him by like giving him a piece of sugar because he was like asking for it or whatever. And then because Finn was nice to him, he curses him to turn him into a foot. And he says, "You must learn your lesson by learning that I'm just a jerk." And eventually Finn gets pissed at him and calls him a jerk, and then he changes him back.
Okay, I see. He knows his position.
He continues being a jerk on Earth. Billy fights the
there
Lich,
you go.
about 970 AMW. The Lich re-emerges and begins to convert Earth's life force into an unholy power to destroy Ooh. Before he succeeds though, Billy, the legendary hero of his era, pummels him into the Candy Tree in the heart of the Candy Kingdom, surrounding him in a prison of amber that can hold him, as long as he's unable to invade the mind of anyone who enters his proximity. Birth of Jake the Dog,
well, somebody's gonna enter his proximity.
AMW. An alien shapeshifter, wore an ampersand, serially bites and thereby impregnates creatures with his offspring in a long con scheme to live forever. His victim this time is a dog in Ooh named Joshua. Joshua gives birth from the bump on his head as his wife Margaret gives biological birth. Their sons are named Jake and Jermaine.
What is this family? So Jake is the biological... Wait, I need to hear that. What the fuck?
This time is a dog in Ooh named Joshua. Joshua gives birth from the bump on his head as his wife Margaret gives biological birth. Their sons are named Jake and Jermaine, respectively. The birth of Finn Mertens and the first humans leave the island. Also 984 AMW. On the
Wait, so Jake is the one who was born from the alien shapeshifter, right? Okay.
Islands, helper Minerva Campbell and a reformed con man Martin Mertens give birth to their son, Finn. When Finn is still a baby, people wronged by Martin in the past attack while Minerva's at work. Martin and Finn are chased onto a raft and barraged by a storm, and also that guardian that we mentioned earlier. You know, the one that stops people from leaving. Martin damages the Guardian and is thrown into the sea, while the massive wave from the Guardian's collapse sends Finn's raft deep into the ocean. They become the first people to leave the island since its founding. Finn survives the long voyage with a breadstick wand, literally a wand that produces breadsticks. The raft washes up on Ooo, making Finn the first actual non-vampire cyborg cursed wizard human in Ooo in nearly 1,000 years. He's found and raised by Margaret and Joshua. The island's most powerful seeker, Kara, is sent to look for Finn. She lands on Ooo, but suffers complete amnesia. Martin is saved by pirates, having likely suffered brain damage and some memory loss. He reverts to his con man ways, his antics escalating to a cosmic crime that imprisons him in the celestial fortress called the Citadel. The Epidemic, about 989 AMW. Dr. Gross, the head of the Seeker program, begins to conduct immoral experiments that lead to a fatal virus claiming 62% of the general population. The fatality rate among helpers is 100%, so Minerva, the final helper, uploads her brain map to the island's computer and creates a network of hundreds of Minerva bots. Humanity consolidates on Founders Island. BMO's mission. Sometime between 989 and 996 AMW, BMO is hurtling through space, dead set on a mission to grow potatoes on Mars. After bumping into a service droid, which he names Olive, BMO is transported to the Drift. By this point, the Drift is falling apart, with Hugo determined to construct a Unity pod to save himself and his formerly human friends, even though it means dooming the rest of the Drift. Well, with BMO's arrival, there's a new sheriff in town, literally. BMO befriends a young denizen of the Drift, Y5, and the two work together to uncover Hugo's conspiracy and save the Drift from his nefarious plans, sending him hurtling through space on a powerless Unity pod. His work as sheriff complete, BMO saddles up on a space lard and heads off into space.
BMO is just the second protagonist.
Before long, he crashes into Earth, where he quickly bumps into two new friends, Finn and Jake. Finn obtains the Enchiridion, 996 AMW. On Ooo, after Joshua and Margaret pass, Finn and Jake move to an epic treehouse with BMO.
The episode he gets the Enchiridion, the whole episode is him kind of going through a bunch of trials, and eventually he gets it. And that's the end. You don't hear about the Enchiridion for like many more episodes, like several seasons later.
Finn and Jake move to an epic treehouse with BMO and start a life of adventuring. They go to Crag Mountain, where the Enchiridion has ended up. Finn passes the trials that are presented to him and shows his color as a true hero, winning the book. The Lich returns. Still 996 AMW. A snail in the Lich's amber chamber falls under his spell and cracks open his amber prison. Finn defeats the Lich with the power of liking someone a lot,
in almost every episode. It just waves at you.
That's actually great. Like, it's always been there. And then you don't know why, but then at one moment you realize, oh, of course, he's the catalyst for everything.
People usually don't notice it at first, but eventually they're like, wait a minute, there's that snail again, just waving.
Cracks open his amber prison. Finn defeats the Lich with the power of liking someone a lot, but a party crashing Ice King drops Bubblegum into the Well of Power, allowing the Lich to possess her. One Godzilla moment later, along with an emergency surgery, expels the Lich from Bubblegum, but the loss of candy biomass in the process temporarily de-ages her, making her 13. But she grows out of it pretty quickly, and unfortunately the Lich is still possessing that dumb snail.
Well, there he is!
The death of Abraham Lincoln, 998 AMW. After 200 years, Magic Man is brought back to Mars to stand trial for his misdeeds, except that Magic Man swaps his body with Jake's. Abraham...
Damn it. Of course it couldn't be that simple.
Lincoln realizes his mistake too late after sentencing Jake and offers Death his immortality for Jake's soul. Grob Gob Globgrod becomes king of Mars. By the way, Death implies that Lincoln's made a deal with him before, which could explain some of the historical discrepancies here. The Lich returns again,
of course, it explains everything.
Timeline is created, also 998 AMW. After laying low, the Lich leaves his snail bod, kills Billy, and possesses his body. Finn then gathers the Enchiridion's gems for who he thinks is Billy, but once receiving the gems, the Lich then opens a gateway to Prismo the Wishmaster. He wishes for the extinction of all life, but Finn and Jake are spared as they follow the Lich to Prismo's time room, which exists outside of all realities, which essentially protects them until they each make a wish themselves.
So now what?
Finn wishes that the Lich never even existed, creating an alternate farm world timeland where the mushroom bomb never went off, and where Finn, under the influence of the crown, causes it to detonate and for the Lich to possess farm world Jake. Our Jake, meanwhile, uses his wish to change the Lich's wish to send Jake and Finn back to Ooo. The Lich then becomes incapacitated in Prismo's time room. Finn obtains the grass sword, and Betty comes too. 999 AMW. Finn ends up with the grass sword, an incredibly powerful cursed blade made to be a part of its user for all eternity. Finn figures out how to work the cursed blade to his advantage though, for now. Shortly thereafter, Betty Groff, Simon Petrikov's fiancée, jumps through that portal that we talked about. She dedicates herself to saving Simon from the crown. Within the year, she becomes Magic Man's apprentice. Prismo's death.
I don't think
that
you
can't end well.
Yeah.
The Citadel jailbreak and the Lich transformed. Also 999 AMW. Finn discovers that his father is at the Citadel and seeks Prismo's aid. The incapacitated Lich, still in Prismo's time room, sees his opening. He kills Prismo and his sleepy host body and is taken to the Citadel as a prisoner. The Lich melts all of the crystalline prisons of the Citadel and incites a mass breakout. Finn swipes the Lich with some of the Citadel Guardian's weird nutrient blood, transforming him into a gigantic, seemingly harmless baby called Sweet Pea. Sweet Pea then becomes the adopted child of Tree Trunks and Mr. Pig. Also,
I'm tired. What is this? The Lich became a giant baby and was adopted by Tree Trunks and Mr. Pig?
Yeah. You're just a cute little old couple.
The elephant even has a ring on its little stump.
She just likes baking pies.
I see. Okay. Well, I'm glad that they're happy together.
Sweet Pea. Sweet Pea then becomes the adopted child of Tree Trunks and Mr. Pig. Also, Finn discovers that Martin is a complete wad. Martin ditches Finn, who loses his arm in an effort to make him stay. The grass sword creates a little flower on the stump of Finn's arm. It eventually regrows Finn's arm, complete with a green thorn, a remnant of the grass sword's curse. Prismo is reborn and the Finn sword is created, and it's still 999 AMW. Prismo enacts his plan B, which is incredibly convoluted but involves pickles and dreams. Long story short, an alternate reality version of Jake sleeps for eternity to revive Prismo, while an alternate version of Finn has his consciousness shoved into a sword, henceforth called the Finn Sword. The recorporealization of Globgrod. Still 999 AMW. A faux comet, which is actually Martin's spaceship, hurtles towards Mars off schedule to the real comet. To save his planet from destruction, Globgrod faces the comet head-on, averting catastrophe but sacrificing their corporeal form and therefore ability to rule Mars. The four heads of Globgrod come to circle the Earth like satellites. Normal.
Imagine saying that like over and over again. Glob, 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 glob. I can't even do it one time.
Man, 999.
Yeah,
Globgrod come to circle the Earth like satellites.
I can't speak normally, let alone tough names.
999 AMW. Later that year, Magic Man attempts to use Glob's discarded helmet to transform into the Glob head. Instead, all of his powers transfer to Betty, who's immediately gripped by wizard insanity. Magic Man becomes Normal Man. The first Candy Kingdom election.
Well, bad for Betty, though.
1000 AMW. The self-proclaimed king of Ooo holds a barely legal election for the position of princess of the Candy Kingdom. Bubblegum refuses to campaign and loses. She relocates to Gumbald's cabin, but reinstates her position when the candy people perform a cuckoo during the vampire
That's a genius name. Cool.
Resurgence a couple months later. The return of Orgalorg and the Purple Catalyst Comet. Still 1000 AMW. Orgalorg starts resurfacing due to the perfect mix of events. The death of Glob, the proximity of the Catalyst Comet, and the availability of a spaceship. Even though he doesn't initially understand why, Orgalorg rockets into space to try, once again, to absorb a Catalyst Comet. Orgalorg's true form is restored, but his absorption is thwarted by Finn's grass arm. For the first time ever, a Catalyst comet meets the incarnation of a previous one. The comet offers to take Finn to the end of the beginning, basically offering him a new form of existence, but Finn refuses. He's put a lot of time into Earth and wants to see how it all plays out. But Martin takes the deal, because of course he does. Finn and Jake then return the neutralized Gunther to Earth. The spread of
Thanks, Dad.
the Lich's hand. Still 1000 AMW. The next few things in this timeline actually all happened within the same year, so I'm not gonna list the year until the year changes again. Ice Finn from Farm World gathers all the gems necessary for Lich Jake to create that dimensional portal with Farm World's Enchiridion. Prismo sends our Finn and Jake to take care of it. The Lich's hand is knocked into the open portal, placing a sentient Lich hand in every dimension. The proper Lich is killed via a super weapon called the Maid. Prismo also relieves Farm World Finn of the Crown's torment as per—
Wait, what? Were you editing the show right now? Okay.
Yeah.
Live editing, let's go.
our Finn's request. Normal Man becomes King of Mars. Normal Man retrieves Glob from orbit. The two brothers reconcile, and as Normal Man takes Glob back to Mars, Glob leaves the throne to Normal Man. Mars has fallen into poverty and
Of course. The statue. Oh, man.
Array, but now King Man revitalizes Mars into a prosperous society. Patient Saint Pym awakens and the Greybold tradition begins. Patient Saint Pym awakens in the nethers of the Ice Kingdom and asks the Ice King to kidnap the other elementals.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, I forgot this lady. She encased herself in ice when the Mushroom Wars happened. Yeah, and she's been at the bottom of the ocean this entire time. Okay, yeah.
Wagum, Flame Princess, and Slime Princess spurn Saint Pym, even after she awakens PB and Slime Princess to their elemental powers. Also, Ice King's fanfictions get scrambled together, inspiring him to string seemingly disparate short stories together with a theme.
That
was the gender swap? Oh, it was the Ice King's fanfic that I watched and enjoyed? Fuck. Oh, my life is a lie.
Short stories together with a theme. Over the next 1,000 years, Ice King's tables evolve into Greybles, an oral and visual storytelling tradition, Finn's voyage, and the elementals gone awry. Finn's friend, Susan Strong, is revealed to be the Seeker Kara, who was sent to retrieve Finn and lost her memories all those years ago. Susan's finder chip goes haywire, but Finn and company use its data to voyage the islands. Finn finally meets his mother. Kind of. I mean, she's still in uploaded consciousness at this point, but Finn finally tells humans about Ooh. Also, Finn's grass sword merges with the Finn sword to form an alternate version of Finn named Fern, but eventually tensions arise between Finn
Genius.
and Fern, including in the dramatic fight that sees Fern cut down to size. This traumatizes Finn further than he already has been over the course of the series. While Finn's away, Saint Pym uses Betty as a battery to charge a spell upon the other elementals, but Ice King interrupts her and the ritual goes sideways. The elementals turn into ultra-powerful, distorted versions of themselves, and everyone in it is transformed into one of the 4 hyper-elements. Finn works with the Ice King to save Betty and hands her the Farm World Enchiridion to reverse the spell, but Betty double-crosses him, instead using the Enchiridion to travel back in time to stop Simon from ever acquiring the crown.
I blame Magic Man.
Ice King stops Betty's spell, and Betty's cosmic no-no sends her to Mars to do penance. Lumpy Space Princess, the anti-elemental, ends up saving the day. Her sassiness forces a sort of master reboot of life on Ooh.
Her sassiness? What?
Yeah.
Sends her to Mars to do penance. Lumpy Space Princess, the anti-elemental, ends up saving the day. Her sassiness forces a sort of master reboot of life on Ooh, including Gumbald, Chickle, and Lolly, Princess Bubblegum's first relatives. The final demise of the Lich. The Lich hand is giving Sweet Pea some freaky nightmares. Finn follows the hand to the Lich's well of power, and Sweet Pea follows Finn. But instead of joining the Lich, Sweet Pea rejects the Lich's evil influence, ending the Lich for good.
Damn.
Yeah, probably. The Great Gum War and Golb reformed, and we're finally at 1001 AMW. Gumbald immediately begins his revenge. He repurposes Fern as the vengeful Green Knight and builds a vast industrial kingdom with impressive speed. The certainty of war is clinched when Gumbald sends Finn, who had gone to Gumbaldia on a rogue diplomatic mission, back to Bubblegum showered in his trademark Dum-Dum juice. Unbeknownst to Finn, who was told the solution was a benevolent diplomatic tradition. Peppermint Butler comes in contact with the Dum-Dum juice and is de-aged to a baby.
Oh wait, but he has that failsafe for he can instruct himself if he ever gets the Dum-Dum juice. Yeah, okay, we're good.
On the battlefield, Finn engulfs himself, Bubblegum, Gumbald, Jake, and Fern with a nightmare concoction, hoping they'll hash out their conflicts in the dream world, which works, though Lolly juices Gumbald just to be safe. Peace is established between the Candy Kingdom and Gumbaldia, but in a final attempt to save their beloved Simon and Margles, Kingman and Betty tamper with Golb. Golb descends upon Ooh and quickly overwhelms both armies. The Ice King, Betty, and Finn slip down the maw of Golb, where they and the crown are reverted back to their original states as Golb.
Also, wait, 1 second. What happened to the quality of the video? It's still at 1080, okay.
Digests them, meaning that once again, whoever wears the crown will have their greatest wish fulfilled. Back outside, the fighters realize Golb, being the embodiment of discord, has a weak spot. Structure, like musical harmony. This enables Finn and Simon to escape, but Betty stays with the crown, unsure if its power would still work outside of Golb. She attempts to wish Golb away, which fails. She then modifies her request to meet her truest, deepest wish, which is to save Simon at all costs. As a result, Betty's wish causes her to merge with Golb. Betty Golb then leaves Ooh. The crown is spat out and claimed by Gunther, who apparently wishes to become the Ice King, keeping the crown on brand. As the dust settles, the defeat of the Grass Curse back in the Nightmare Realm kills Fern. Finn plants his seed where Finn and Jake's treehouse was destroyed, and the tree grows to towering heights in 1,000 years. Humans return to Ooh, about 1003 AMW. After hearing Finn's tales, the humans decide to leave the islands. Nearly 1,000 years after their departure, a fleet of ships arrive to return human civilization to distant lands. Sometime after 1003 AMW, back in the Glass Kingdom, Molto Larvos is still held at bay, though the lyrics of the yearly song of Saint Marceline have become a little...
Oh, they're even wearing masks that are of her face. Okay.
Over the years. Young Glassboy is constantly ridiculed for the crack in his head, so believing Larvo to be dead, he sneaks into the furnace to repair his crack. Turns out Larvos is very much not dead, chases Glassboy out of the furnace, and is now reawakened, posing a threat to Glass Kingdom once again. To fix his mistake and save his home, Glassboy sets out to the Candy Kingdom to seek Marceline's help. At this point, Marceline and Princess Bubblegum are back together, so once again they set out to save the Glass Kingdom. Trouble is, Marceline's song isn't enough to beat Larvos back. All it does is make Bubblegum feel bad again. PB saw this coming, so she...
Yeah, it's a song about her breaking up with her, okay. Yeah, obviously it would. Brings up bad memories, man.
She had the Moro follow behind her with scientific gear to set up a force field around the furnace's entrance. Marceline leaves the Glass Kingdom to rediscover her punk rock edge, while Bubblegum stays behind to manage the force field. After some introspection and hearing an old message from her mother, Marceline returns to the Glass Kingdom, though her base is destroyed by Larvos' minion monsters along the way. Despite Bubblegum's best efforts, Larvo has broken free and is laying waste to the Glass Kingdom. Glassboy, PB, and Marceline then lure Larvo back to the furnace. Trapped and ready to accept her fate, Marceline sings one last love song to PB. This time, the song touches Larvo so much that the beast's hard, flaming shell gives way to a docile, squishy creature that hid within.
The power of music, everybody.
Yes.
Larvo defeated, the Glass Kingdom is safe. Meanwhile, Peppermint Butler is on a quest of his own. By now, he's grown into a schoolboy. Still spurned by the curse of his former self, the young Peppermint Butler heads to Wizard City to relearn magic at Wizarts. All the while, he needs to keep his true identity of the legendary Dark Wizard Peppermint Butler a secret, all while keeping his dark magic on the down low. Peppermint gets stuck in the Skink class, the lowest house on the Wizarts totem pole, alongside aspiring magician Kadabra. As Peps navigates the academic and social life of Wizarts, he uncovers a terrifying conspiracy. A number of Wizards professors, and even the guy who runs the cafe, are part of the cult of Kokontepi. They've been working in the shadows to find a vessel powerful enough to host the resurrected Kokontepi. Sure enough, as a once powerful dark wizard, Peppermint is just the vessel they're looking for. Unlike Spader, when given the opportunity, Peps is on board for some extra power. He drinks ichor from the heart of Kokontepi, becoming the host for the dark monster. After a brief rampage, Kadabra manages to trick Peps/Kokontepi just long enough to land a blow, forcing him to puke up the ichor, restoring him to his original candy form. The Peppermint Butler curse ghost pops up once again to give Peps a hard time, but this time he stands up for himself. He yoinks the curse right out of his mouth, freeing himself from its influence.
Well, that was easy.
Although his identity is exposed to the remaining non-cult headmasters at Wizards, Peppermint Butler is allowed to stay on as a student. A new Candy Kingdom in space.
Is the show kind of like one of those where we switch protagonists sometimes and then we go on their own like little arc because of how big it is? Like,
sometimes.
How many episodes is Adventure Time?
10 seasons and some like movies and specials, I think.
10 seasons. Okay.
I think.
That's the scale that we're talking about. Gotcha.
They're like 10-minute episodes, so.
Oh, 10-minute episodes.
They're like, it's like 24 episodes a season, but like 10-minute episodes. If
okay.
I'm remembering correctly.
About 10:20 AMW. In 1000 AMW, Princess Bubblegum entrusted Tree Trunks' husband, not Mr. Pig or other alien husband, with a capsule containing enough candy matter to start a new Candy Kingdom on the aliens' abandoned home planet. By 1020, this candy colony would be up and running. Finn and Jake are dead. Late 1000s AMW. There's no telling how long Finn and Jake live out the rest of their lives. I can tell you though, they die at some point, and Jake dies first. Based on Finn's beard, at least they lived long lives. So I'm just gonna be optimistic and ballpark this around the late 1000s. At some point, Death and Life had a kid, and eventually the kid is brought.
Death and Life had a kid.
This around the late 1000s. At some point, Death and Life had a kid, and eventually the kid is brought under a dark influence. The influence of the Lich's hand. With all that dark power swirling around, the kid kills its dad in a fit of anger, accidentally usurping Death's throne as the ruler of the land of the dead, becoming New Death. As the Lich's influence grows, New Death seeks to access the 50th Dead World, the only one he was not able to access. Now in the land of the dead, Finn is desperate to reunite with Jake. With some help from Mr. Fox, Finn crosses paths with New Death and one of his undertakers, Jake's old friend, Tiffany Euler. Turns out that Jake is in the 50th Dead World, so New Death sees Finn as his ticket in. Finn gets his hands on Tiffany's harmonica, hopping from Dead World to Dead World, hoping to reach the 50th. After bumping into a number of old friends and acquaintances along the way, Finn finds his parents on the 45th level. However, Death has been watching this whole time. The Lich's influence has finally boiled over, too. Through New Death, he starts destroying dead worlds, starting with number 45, seeking to truly end all life by ceasing reincarnation itself. Believing his parents' souls to be lost forever, Finn cries out and Jake finally appears.
I mean, yeah, I would cry too.
Yeah, that's pretty dramatic.
Right?
Descending from the 50th Dead World. With the way to the 50th now open, New Death manages his way in and promptly destroys it, sending all of the residing souls down to the horrid first Death World. Stumped, Finn and Jake decide to reach out to Peppermint Butler as ghosts for advice. Peppermint sends them to New Death's mother, the goddess of life. To defeat her son, she arms them with a special staff, the Kiss of Life. Tiffany helps Finn and Jake infiltrate New Death's castle, and they finally do battle. First with New Death and the Lich, and then with each other. They know that whoever kills New Death will become the New Death, and they fight for the chance to land the final blow. Well, Mr. Fox manages to actually hold the Kiss of Life by the right end, vanquishing New Death, becoming Death himself, and sparing Finn and Jake from having to argue further. With the Lich defeated once again, Finn and Jake finally say goodbye and part ways, with Jake returning to the restored 50th Dead World and Finn going to be reincarnated, until Jake changes his mind and joins Finn in reincarnation, excited to live their new lives together. The future of Ooh, 2000 AMW. The Candy Kingdom expands and likely merges with Gumbaldia. Despite this, by 2000, the Candy Kingdom is in ruins and appears abandoned. Still, what looks like a buff Gumball Guardian, apparently called a Prize Ball Guardian, carries several candy citizens around in plastic balls, guarded by one of the buff banana guards Bubblegum built for the war, or at least an offshoot of one. Aliens move to Ooo, and space travel becomes more common. Sweet Pea is a giant-sized hero wielding Finn's final sword. Jake and Lady's offspring become a new species called pups, which appear to have constructed their own city or kingdom. Giant monuments to Finn and Jake are built and also fall to ruin.
Jake is
1,000 years is a long time.
One of the Rainicorns.
Oh, wait. Weren't they also enemies?
Yeah.
Well, like, the races, I mean. Yeah, okay. Well, that would, I guess there's a lot to go going on behind that one.
Become a new species called pups, which appear to have constructed their own city or kingdom. Giant monuments to Finn and Jake are built and also fall to ruin. 1,000 years is a long time. We leave off with Shermie the cat and Beth the pup princess to continue the never-ending cycle of adventuring. And with that, the deed is done. The adventure timeline in all of its glory.
There's a new series coming in a few weeks that has the, like, Fiona and Cake, who were the, like, gender-bent versions, or, like, women characters. It seems different from how they were portrayed in the, like, one-off episodes. So I'm curious how it's going to fit into the timeline. Probably some, like, alternate universe colliding. I don't know. I'm excited. It looks fun.
I'm sure there's going to be some really crazy reason behind it, and it'll make sense within the universe somehow. Oh my god. That was so much.
This is what you thought it was going to be?
I mean, I knew that the show was weird. That was kind of why I was like, you know, it's probably not for me. But so many sentences were just like, pause. Wait, what did you just say to me? Abraham Lincoln being the king of Mars wasn't like the most surprising thing in this video. But so many things are going on. Whatever that thing's name is.
And his brother Magic Man.
Magic Man. I blame everything on Magic Man. Even if he's a changed man, now he's King Man. There were so many shots where I didn't pause and comment on all of them, but I was wondering what in the world is going on here, and what are my eyes looking at right now?
Yeah.
This show is something else.
Adventure Time is one of the most creative shows I've ever watched. Just the crazy ideas they come up with is so much fun. I adore it. I need to go sleep. My brain can't keep up anymore. Sort of Stupid are watching Adventure Time, and they put up a poll on their YouTube while they were watching it, like end of season 1-ish, to see like who people preferred, Princess Bubblegum or Marceline. And they're like, they were pretty sure Marceline was gonna win, and then Marceline won by like 90 votes or something. It's like, yeah, they haven't quite seen the other sides of PB yet.
Yeah, as somebody who didn't know anything about the show going in, PB seemed okay, and like she was the quirky girl, you know, but I guess not. She was crazy. I could totally see PB basically being the equivalent of Kiwi in this universe.
It was a little bit more science. Kiwi was science.
A little bit. Yeah, Kiwi, if we made Kiwi intelligent, this is what she would do.
Oh,
no. But anyways, guys, if you haven't checked out our Ben 10 timeline reaction, that will be linked in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Bye bye.